What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel, Movies and Reactions with Chris. If you're new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button and becoming a part of my YouTube family. I would really appreciate it, and I would love for you to be a part of my YouTube family. Comment on my videos, give me ideas for future videos. So if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button. So today, welcome back. We're going to be ranking the 3 Iron Man films, in my opinion, from worst to best. This is just my opinion. This is not a definitive list. This is just my personal opinion. And please feel free to comment on the video and let me know if you agree. Rank the films in your order. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. And like I said, give me ideas for future videos. So in honor of the fact that I didn't get a video out yesterday for Marvel Movie Monday, I did record the Thor: The Dark World review, so that'll come out later today. And because of that, I decided to make this video because we've covered all 3 Iron Man films. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to rank the Iron Man films from the worst to the best, in my opinion. If soundtracks could save a film from being the worst on my list, AC/DC Shoot the Thrill would be one of those films, would be one of those soundtracks or songs to save Iron Man 2 from being the worst on my list. But I have to admit that as much as I didn't want to put this film at the bottom spot of this list, it comes in at number 3 for me. This film, and like I said, I like this film. I will admit it's one of the worst in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the fact that I like it and it's one of the worst is a testament that even the worst in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I can have a good time with. This film gets too much wrong. I'll talk about the good first. I'm not going to dog all these movies out. I love the fact that Don Cheadle replaces Terrence Howard in this film. I've never seen anybody else say this, but this is how I feel. I love Terrence Howard as an actor, but I think Don Cheadle as Colonel James Rhodes, who becomes War Machine in this film, I enjoy him more for some reason. Now, maybe that's unfair because Terrence Howard only got 1 shot in the first Iron Man film to play the role, but I like Don Cheadle in this film. I like that they threw Nick Fury in here a lot more than just his cameo at the end of the first Iron Man film. I like the Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. I like a lot of the plot, a lot of the things they did, like Tony making Pepper his new CEO so he could focus more on the superhero thing, and really because he knew he was dying in this film, spoiler alert. And I like Jon Favreau. I like the cast of this film. But what this film gets wrong, the villain sucks. I'm sorry, and I don't think Mickey Rourke is a terrible actor. I just think Whiplash sucks in this film. I don't know why. I just never liked him. Like, even when I was a kid and I saw this film, terrible villain. He's almost worse than Malekith in Thor: The Dark World, in my opinion. One of the worst villains. He adds nothing to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This film, there's too much time that we don't see RDJ as Iron Man in this film. We literally see the entrance where he appears at the Stark Expo and they're playing Shoot the Thrill. Awesome scene. We see him take on Whiplash, Ivan Vanko, like almost halfway through the film at like a raceway in Monaco. Awesome scene. Then we see him at the end of the film. That's it. There's not enough Iron Man in this film to be called Iron Man 2. Throw into it, the villain stinks, the plot is bad. There's not enough, even though I really like the good in this film, there's not enough good to save this film from coming in at the last place on my slot.
Check the heart, is it the brain?
No sign of cardiac anomaly or unusual brain activity.
Number 2 on my list is Iron Man 3. I'm going to be completely honest. I really want to put this at the number 3 slot. I really do. But I cannot justify putting Iron Man 2 higher than Iron Man 3. As much as I do, like I said, I admit Iron Man 2 is a bad film. And I can have a good time with it. I think it's a fun film. Iron Man 3 is one of the ones I don't like to rewatch because there's a lot wrong in this film that I personally do not like. So if this was me doing my favorites, then Iron Man 3 would probably come in the last place. But because I'm trying to have, this is a credit. I want this to be a credible list. I have to say that Iron Man 3 comes in at the number 2 slot. This film gets a lot of things right. I dug that they did the PTSD stuff with Tony Stark. Every time in this film where the events of the Avengers film, because this film comes out right after the first Avengers film, anytime the events of that film are mentioned, the Battle of New York or the aliens or anything from the Avengers film, Tony has a panic attack. And I think that was a vulnerable place to take Tony Stark, and I like it. As a veteran who suffers from PTSD myself, I like to see that and see that in films and understand that that's something that's normal in our society. Whether you're a soldier or just a civilian or anything, people get PTSD every single day, and it's something I think needs to have more awareness. So I dug that one of my favorite superheroes had to deal with that. If they dealt with that more, I think this film could have been better than... could have been one of the best in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I like the stuff with Pepper. I like the Iron Patriot stuff. I even like the Extremist stuff. What this film gets wrong, in my opinion, I don't like Aldrich Killian as a villain. Because of the fact that his plot is based off of things, like I said this in my review, having an idol and then your idol wronging you in a superhero film, I don't think it works that well. We've seen it in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. We've seen it in Batman Forever. The only film I can think where I say it probably works is the first Incredibles movie. That movie is awesome. There's really not much I can say bad about that film. That's the only film I've ever seen where that plays out in a superhero film. The Mandarin twist. One of the things I hate about the Marvel Cinematic Universe the most, I don't hate much about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Mandarin twist. I hate it. Spoiler alert for Avengers Endgame and everything Iron Man going forward. I despise the fact that now Tony Stark is probably dead in the Marvel Cinematic Universe forever. I know there's talk of Robert Downey Jr. coming back in the Black Widow film, which is not going to expand on his, character because he's dead. He's probably going to come back in the What If series. That's cool. And there's rumors that with the Armor Wars, that's going to star Don Cheadle as War Machine, reprising his role. There's rumors that either in that or in the Ironheart Disney Plus series, Tony might come back like in the comics when he gets killed, or in Civil War 2, he comes back as an AI to Riri Williams, Ironheart. If that happens, cool. I don't want to see it happen. I think Tony had a definitive story. It started, it had its middle, it had its end. I think that should be it. The What If and the Black Widow stuff I'm cool with, but I think he should stay gone. I hate the fact that he's gone and now we'll never see him battle the Mandarin, his arch nemesis. I hate that. Tonally, this movie, I like a lot of the comedy, but there's times where something really serious, like Tony having a panic attack happening, and then they go and they cut to something funny. I don't like that. I don't like Aldrich Killian. I don't like his plot. I don't like the way he goes about doing things. So coming in at number 2 on my list is going to be Iron Man 3.
I am Iron Man.
I think you all knew what was going to come in at number 1 on this list. It is going to be the original Iron Man. I'll start with the negative, the one negative with this film. Obadiah Stane, I think, is one of the more forgettable villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's my only negative about this. I don't think he's a terrible villain. The only reason he's really forgettable, different from Malekith and different from Aldrich Killian in the some of the later films, that I think they are terrible villains. he's really grounded. There's not really much they could do with this film. This is an origin story. Now, on to the positive. Everything else about this film is awesome. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. Jarvis. Rhodey in this film. Even though, like I said, I like Don Cheadle more than Terrence Howard. I enjoyed Terrence Howard in the role in this film. Everything. The Ten Rings stuff. Tony getting kidnapped. Tony's first battle with the clunky Mark 1, the Mark 2 scene, the soundtrack of this film, the scene where Tony first creates the Mark 3 and then goes to Golmira and takes out those who were oppressing Jensen's hometown, where he's from. Everything about this film is awesome. Like I said, the one negative is that Obadiah Stane is a forgettable villain. Corporate, not espionage, corporate affairs, stuff like that. It's really small considering that we would get so many grand villains later down the road. But I enjoy this film. I think that this film is one of the best within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Probably top 10 on my list still. And it is the film that birthed the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the very first film. And it hit the ground running. I think this film is still up there with some of the greatest. I'm going to talk about these films that I think, even though I haven't covered them on the channel yet, this is in league to me with the Avengers Infinity Wars, the Endgames, the Captain America, the Winter Soldiers, Captain America Civil Wars, those type of films. I think this film is in league. The Black Panthers, the Thor Ragnaroks, the Spider-Man Homecomings. I think this film is in league with those films, even though it feels very grounded compared to some of those other films. This doesn't feel so much like a superhero film because you have a guy who doesn't have superpowers. He gets kidnapped. At the heart of this film, it is about a guy trying to right his wrongs, trying to do the right thing. Robert Downey Jr. is awesome. Jon Favreau does an excellent job directing this film and having a role in the film as Happy Hogan. I love this film. I think that as long as the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues to evolve, now we're going into Phase 4. WandaVision comes out this Friday. I still think I can go back and appreciate Iron Man for what it is. This film is awesome. I ranked it. It was the very first film on my list for the Marvel Movie Monday series that we're doing. I love this film. Like I said, almost nothing negative I can say about it. Are you guys surprised that Iron Man came in at number 1 on my list? Is Iron Man 1 not number 1 for you? I've seen some people say that Iron Man 3 is the superior film. If you feel that way, that's your opinion, and I will respect your opinion. I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody say Iron Man 2 is the best Iron Man film. But all of these films are very near and dear to my heart. I have a good time with all of them. I love the fact that Robert Downey Jr. has portrayed Iron Man for over 10 years and that he had a solid conclusion. I don't know what they're going to do. Some people say Robert Downey Jr. might come back. I don't know. But I enjoyed what they did with Iron Man. What do you guys think? Comment below. Let me know what you think about the Iron Man films, all 3, your personal ranking. Consider hitting that like, that subscribe button, becoming a part of my YouTube family. And I'll catch you all on Thursday when we continue my Throwback Thursday series for 3 to 5 of my favorite films from every year that I've been alive. I was born in 1993, so last Thursday we did 3 films from 1993 that I like. This Thursday we'll do 3 to 5 films from 1994 that I like. So I'll catch you all this Thursday.